it was just, it was during a wrestling match. I've got some footage, so I'll make sure it's playing now. Obviously, this guy goes for a power bomb, and somehow my arm... Simon of the Bald A-hole here. Thank you for joining me as always. And yet, look at this nonsense. Absolutely ridiculous. I have a broken, metacarpal bone in my right hand. It's the second metacarpal bone. I can't even pronounce it. And before we get into the whys and the ins and outs and everything like that, obviously it's going to affect the channel a little bit. If you don't know, I make the videos, I edit the videos, I do everything. So if you watch any videos over the next few weeks and think, Simon, you haven't put a lot of effort into this, it's not an effort thing. This already has made life very hard. Now, I already know in the comments, people are like, Simon, you're always injured, you're always getting hurt. And look, I do have a lot of stories like this, but ultimately, it's not true, right? The thing, I put something on my Instagram at Simon316, cheap plug, and you always get the comments like that, which you don't need anyway. Like, I know that real, or I should say more successful professional wrestlers get it. And this doesn't just go for professional wrestling, it comes for all walks of life, whether you're a football player, whether you're just, I don't know, Tim that goes to the factory. When you've hurt yourself, the last thing anybody needs to hear is, oh, you're an idiot, or you get hurt all the time. It's like, do you not think that I'm already down? Like, of course this has upset me. Not only because I'm in pain all of the time, but all of a sudden I'm like, man, how am I going to train? How am I going to go do this? And I figured out a little bit of a plan, but it's going to be a slight struggle. So you want support in times like this, but also tying into the thing that I just mentioned. My only other real proper wrestling injury was all the way back in 2018 when I blew out my shoulder. Everything else that's happened to me in the meantime has just been little things that pop up, because if you are going to put yourself in a squared circle and throw yourself around, every now and then your body's going to be like, well, you can't do this. It's not normal. Now, I know I had the rib thing that happened earlier in the year as well. Don't get me wrong, I'm having a terrible time of it. My run is absolutely shocking, and you should roll your eyes at me. But that was a life thing. That was something, that was a rib I broke in a car crash, oh man, years ago, like 2014. It's just something that I had to get sorted out. So my real, again, luck or lack of it comes in the form of these things coming very, very, very close together. But I mean, what do you do? There's not much you can do, but the good thing, I suppose, or the positive spin, is that when you do injure yourself, you can sit down and chat about it, because I'm going to guess that 100% of people watching this either, unfortunately, will be injured in the future, or they've already gone through it. And I know this because people get in touch with me and they ask for advice. And it is really tough to deal with. Now, I do think you should train around an injury as and when you can. So, for example, I can't use my right hand, but I can go and tray legs. I can do leg press. I can do calf raises. I can do hamstring curls. I can do leg extensions and everything like that. I can do standing squats, and it's not going to make a blind bit of difference. This is kind of the same with upper body. Like, I'm not going to be able to train biceps or triceps for a while, but there are things that you can do with one hand where you'll be able to trigger your chest muscles, your pecs, and be able to trigger your back. You just kind of need to sit there and be quite smart with it. But maybe more importantly than that is that you don't have to train when you're injured. Like, I'm probably going to do it just for my own mental well-being. But let's say, again, a broken hand, it depends on how well you heal, but it takes anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 weeks till you can get back into it. If you just want to take 3 weeks to chill out, play Nintendo, maybe even slack off on your diet a little bit, you're perfectly allowed to do it. As long as you have the discipline to get back into things on the other end and accept that, yes, you're not going to look as good at the end of that 3 week or however long it is period. There's nothing wrong with that. Your body will remember. Of course it does. Your body will remember. Consistency is key, but taking your foot off the gas every now and then, it doesn't make you a worse person. It doesn't make you any less of a human. All those Instagram posts shouting at you, oh, why haven't you trained today? You can ignore them for a little bit. Like, going to the gym and being healthy and being fit is massively important, but it is not the be all and end all. And to pretend that you're not going to suffer some sort of, foible or injury at some point isn't being realistic, especially if you are lifting heavy things above your head, right? Maybe you don't warm up very well enough. Maybe it's just your time. Maybe you haven't slept, so you're a little bit tired, so you're not concentrating. Sometimes you can get out of bed and pull your hamstring. Like, that's just what happens to human beings. So I think it's the number one thing I see. People are like, I'm going to lose muscle mass, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Now, if you've suffered a really serious injury and you're going to be out for a year, obviously that's far harder to take. But even then, like, time is an incredible thing. Whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 6 months, or a year, that time will pass, and eventually you will be back in the gym. You will be back to smashing it, hitting it 100%. And if you can take those 12 months and kind of use it as an experience to learn from, you're going to be a better person coming out the other side. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. Again, I think I've already said that, but I'll say it twice because I will absolutely struggle with it as well. But you have to kind of try and use these things as best as you can. That's the situation you find yourself in. And if you are sitting there in pain and being like, man, I just want to do this and I just want to do that, but I can't, it's only going to make it worse. And while I don't think it's going to completely transform your recovery time, if you do approach these things with a positive mindset, I genuinely believe, for whatever reason you want to put on it, that it does help you get back to where you need to be just a tiny bit faster. I'm not saying you're going to get magical healing powers, but just putting that positive energy out into the world sometimes seems to rebound, hit a wall, and come back on you. And all of a sudden, you're massively positive. I should have mentioned as well, I didn't even mention how I did this. Simon, you've spent half the video and told you to say how we did it. It was just, it was during a wrestling match. I've got some footage, so I'll make sure that it's playing now. Obviously, this guy goes for a power bomb, and somehow my arm got stuck underneath his leg, so all his force comes down on it. Obviously, I'm falling from not a great height, but, a height all the same. And there's a lot of weight there. And somehow my hand just got caught in it. So it's not even anything I really could have prevented. I don't really understand how it happened, if I'm completely honest with you. I watched it time and time again, and it's one of those situations where instantly I knew something was wrong. Like I nursed my hand for the rest of the match. Luckily, it was the finishing sequence. But yeah, I got hit with that. I then get picked up for the DVD, and the whole time in my head I'm like, because at first you just think, oh, I'm sure I haven't broken it. I'm sure I've just given it a stinger, like when you stub your toe. And you presume it's going to pass eventually. So he gave me the DVD. I was able to protect my hand. And after that, all I had to do was give him a spear and get the 1, 2, 3 for the win. When I went for the spear, I was like, well, there's no way I can grab him with both hands. I knew by that point, I was like, this is way too painful. And no matter what it is, I just didn't want to do it. My instincts were telling me don't do it. And I think it's important to listen to your instincts. So I gave him the most ridiculous one-arm spear you've ever seen in your life. But, you could you could look at it both ways. Should I just have stopped the match? I mean, probably, but I didn't know the extent of the injury. But also, is there an immature, stupid thing inside of me that's like, I finished the match even though I'm injured, I'm a real tough guy? Yes, there is. Now, I'm not a tough guy at all. I'm a giant wuss. I'm a giant coward. But, we take what we can get. And then obviously I went backstage. And at first I thought it was my wrist, which is very weird. My wrist does hurt, but there's no damage to it. So I guess I just hurt my wrist. But then, my hand started to swell and I took my finger, ironically, and I was rubbing it along that metacarpal bone, and you could literally feel that it was in two parts. So you check your other hand, and you're like, okay, well, no, that's not normal. Had to go to A&E. Thankfully, they were really super duper quick. As it turns out, if you have a broken bone and nobody else is there for broken bones, the fracture team will see you quite quickly. Had an X-ray, they confirmed it. Got my arm doled up like this. Then had to go to obviously because I was down in Kent for that. Had to go to an A&E closer to me yesterday to get on the books for the fracture clinic here. And actually, I had a different one of these. I guess it's like a removable cast. I had a different one of these. This one's better, apparently, but who the hell knows? And somebody from the team is going to call me this week. I'm going to get an appointment. And like I say, it should be, if I'm lucky, 3 to 4 weeks. Is it going to be that? Who the hell knows? I've already started supplementing with things that are supposed to help bone healing, like vitamin D and everything like this. I mean, is it going to make a major difference? No. But again, it just puts me in a better space mentally. I think the real shame is that you probably would have seen, like, my video upload consistency has been poor recently. And the truth of the matter is I literally have had no time. Like, I'm behind on all of my work. I was very blessed to go to WrestleMania, which I massively appreciated, but some things happened before that, which also had a knock-on effect. So I'm still desperately trying to play catch-up, which is kind of ironic because today, not only was I going to obviously get back into the daily upload schedule, but I had all these ideas to make the videos more fun. I don't want to say I was going to edit heavy. That sounds crazy. But I was going to certainly use more editing techniques. And now I've had to go the other way and do the simplest edits ever. So it goes to show as well, you should always plan, obviously. You should always know what you want to do, but you also have to be prepared to pivot too, because you don't know what life is going to throw at you. And that kind of ties into the gym as well. I'm sure you've got plans, for the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Something could happen. Just make sure you accept it as best you can. And remember, all these things are sent to try us. And for all the trolls right now that saying, Simon, you should retire from wrestling because you're absolutely crap. Well, maybe you're right. But I'm not going to do that because when I do decide to hang up the boots, as they say, I want to do it on my own terms. And I want to do it in a way where I know that I've got as much out of it as I possibly can. I never want to be a 60, 70, 80-year-old man if I'm blessed to get to that age and go, well, I should have tried more. Or I don't want any regrets, right? I'd rather have 100 injuries and get to old age and know that I gave everything than get there and say, well, I walked away too soon. And I'm not saying I'm not like a famous professional wrestler or anything, but still, you like to think these things are going to lead somewhere. So that's my 2 cents. I thought we may as well do this video today. So with the subsequent videos, you understand what is going on. I'm not going to mention it. Otherwise, I'll mention it on a few, obviously, to try and let brand new viewers know. Otherwise, hopefully people will find this video. Thank you as always for being nice, and I will speak to you again soon. But before that, make sure you like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the bell, ding, ding, so you know when the next video is going live. And please do click that, because people are always getting in touch with me saying I get no notifications ever. It's YouTube being YouTube, so maybe we need to reactivate it. There will be a video on the screen. Give that a click as well. YouTube loves it. And again, like I say, leave a comment, probably calling me a bald a-hole. That's fine. It's not like it's a lie. GorillaMind.com/Simon. Make sure you use the code Simon to get 10% off. These are supplements that I massively support. I think they're good. Also in Greg Doucette's Power 13 cookbook, use code Simon, get 15% off. Simon15 is the code. Instagram and Twitter at Simon316. Patreon.com/Simon316 if you want to support me that way. Simon@thebigcartel.com for merch. And I'm on Cameo. My Cameo is back. I turned it off for a while I was in America, but now I've turned it back on again. So if you do want to shout out, you certainly can. More importantly, I appreciate you watching this. I appreciate you. Speak to you soon.